Hello, hello, beautiful souls. Today marks a day of New Year's Day 2026, but also the super exciting thing is that it's day one of prep for me, my second ever bodybuilding series, or season I should say, and I've decided to vlog it on YouTube because your girl's getting out of her comfort zone this year. She's doing more growth and I can't wait to take you all with me. For those of you that do not know me, I'm a 26-year-old that lives on the Gold Coast, and I am a personal trainer as well as a registered nurse. And my biggest motto is movement is for self-love, not punishment. Now today is great because I am currently at Kangaroo Point, and this view is Mick, if you ask me. I'm meeting a friend, a special friend. Her name is Katie. She is such an inspiration. I love this girl. She just completed her prep season last year. It's weird to say last year now for 2025, holy shit. And she won not only her pro card, but also her pro champion status. And you know what? Surrounding myself with people that I inspire to be like, and people that are just genuine souls, is what I am doing this year. Surrounding myself with like-minded individuals and people that just light me up, and your friend for the right reasons, and they're just this like very supportive bubble. Anyways, I'm rambling on, but hell, I am very, very excited to begin my second ever bodybuilding prep. Here we go. Cheers. Cheers. So, forgot to pack my spoon. Day one of prep. So I'm eating with the side of this container. Yeah. Happy day one of prep and happy new year. question I got was tips on dealing with hunger when you have consumed your calorie intake for the day. So there's a few tips that I would recommend in general. So making sure that you're eating whole foods and quality meals throughout the day, making sure you're eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner, ensuring you have a good serving of protein in that, at least one serving of protein, which is about 20 to 30 grams of protein. And ensuring that you are volumizing those meals, because the more volume that you have in a meal, the more satiated you're going to feel throughout the day, and the easier it's going to be for you to wait about that 3 to 4 hours that I recommend for like meal timing around then to your next meal. So then you're actually spreading it out properly throughout the day, so then you're not leaving yourself short and starving by like 4 p.m. because you've eaten all your meals. So in that meal timing as well, making sure that, you know, if your bedtime is 8 p.m., let's say, like me, I'm a bit of a grandma, have your dinner at like 6 p.m. so that gives you time to digest, and it also leaves you not feeling starving going to bed. When I talk about volume as well, what I mean in that is including foods that are not calorie dense, but allow you to have lots of volume, so it helps you keep fuller. So things like pumpkin, spudlight potatoes, sweet potato, vegetables, fruit, those things are not super calorie dense, so that allows you to have more of it, so that allows more volume in your meal. Also, another thing I recommend is adding fats to your meal. So, you know, healthy fats include avocado, almond butter, nut butters like peanut butter, extra virgin olive oil, fatty fish, things like that. When you have fats in your meal, fats actually take longer to digest in the system, or in the stomach, I should say. So that when you've got a slowed digestion, that means you're going to feel fuller for longer. But yeah, I think I've mentioned all the points there. Yes, I have. Nope. Future Chloe that is currently editing this video. Hydration. Super important during a fat loss phase. Ensuring that you are drinking at least 2.5 to 3 liters of water per day in between your meals, during your meals, after your meals. That is going to help keep you fuller for longer as well, because a lot of the time, thirst can be mistaken as hunger. What the that? Another thing that I would say too is that if you've exhausted all of those tips, and also dealing with hunger in general during a calorie deficit phase is a skill. So what I recommend to do to help with hunger is distracting yourself. So sitting there watching Instagram and watching food reels or something like that isn't going to help you. And I learnt this the hard way during prep last time, is that I was sitting there watching like deep in comp prep, watching brownies and Biscoff slices. It drove me absolutely insane. So same goes with the normal person doing a calorie deficit or fat loss phase, is that if you're got food on the mind, it's just going to increase your food noise. So what I always suggest to do is go for a walk, do an activity that is away from food, whether that is drawing, painting, riding a bike, whatever your hobby is. Go and do that to distract your mind from thinking about food. If you keep yourself busy during a fat loss phase, it is a lot easier to move away from the food noise. Why did I start training in the first place? I answered this very briefly on my stories the other day, and I did a little post about my fitness journey. So back in 2019, I actually started my pole fitness journey, and I was just purely doing poles. So I built my upper body and my core from doing pole dancing. And eventually I wanted to become stronger for pole. So the initial reason as to why I got myself into the gym was to build some more strength, so I was able to do cool tricks and hold myself up for longer, because when pole fitness is hard. It's really hard. It requires a lot of endurance. So I was like, sweet, if I start going to the gym, building some muscle mass, then I'm going to build more strength to be able to hold myself on the pole for longer without gassing myself out. So that was the initial reason as to why I started in the gym. And then I ended up falling in love with the gym, and here we are, bodybuilding. Crazy. Okay, next question I got was, how long does it take to see results if I'm staying consistent? So this does change person to person, and I hate to admit it, but it's true that genetics do come into play here. Some people, if you're looking to lose weight, some people lose weight a bit easier than others. Same goes with building muscle. Some people build muscle a lot easier than others. So I would always say, as a general rule of thumb, that seeing results does take time, and it does get annoying, and it does get a bit frustrating and a little bit boring. However, being consistent, like you said, if you just commit to the process, if you are doing the right things, like using the 80-20 rule, which is what I love to use. 80% consistency and sticking to the plan, 20% of being human and filling your cup in ways that rejuvenate you so you can keep pushing for longevity. We don't want to think that we have to be a perfectionist to achieve results. And one of the things that I say to my girls is it's consistency over perfectionism, and being able to ensure that you have a healthy relationship with yourself and food. And if you are consistently ticking the boxes, as in getting your steps in, getting your training sessions in. Teacher Chloe is also butting in again. So ensuring that you are actually training with intention, and intensity is also going to predict your results. So if you're just going into the gym and you don't have a proper plan, or you're half-assing it, so meaning you aren't actually training properly with the appropriate amount of intensity required to build muscle, then that's going to also play a part in how quickly you see results. Also, form. If your form's shit, then you are not going to maximize your muscle gain, because if you don't know what muscle you're working in exercise and you're just going through the motions, then you aren't stimulating that muscle group that exercise is intended for properly, meaning you're not stimulating any growth. Eating good quality meals that have protein, carbs, fats, and you're eating a proper good quality meal consistently for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, then you will see results. Also, do not forget the importance of pre-workout nutrition and post-workout nutrition. So ensuring that you are eating carbohydrates before you train, and ensuring that you are eating protein after you train to help with muscle recovery. That's going to help you build that muscle as well. Carbohydrates is also like fuel for the car. So fuel for your body, so you're able to push that intensity and get the most out of your training session as you can. Everyone's different. Everyone has different body types. Everyone has different genetics. Everyone has different goals. So that question I can't answer completely in terms of like exact time frames or anything like that, but just know that if you're staying consistent with your nutrition, with your movement, with your resistance training, or whatever kind of training that you're doing specific to your goals, then yes, you will see results. It just takes learning delayed gratification, meaning it takes time. So get used to the boring, get used to repeating structured programs. So don't be chopping and changing your exercises every week. You want to stick to a consistent structured training program for at least that 6 weeks at a bare minimum. I actually recommend to go beyond that, 8 to 10 weeks, and consistently working to progressively overload. So then you can build that lean muscle tissue. And trust me, before before you go and say, oh, but I don't want to get bulky, I promise you, you're not going to get bulky if you are worried about that. And I wish that it was easier to put on muscle. It's actually really hard to build muscle. So if you are resistance training, trust me, you will not get bulky. Instead, you will start feeling stronger. You will have more energy throughout the day. You will improve your metabolism, because when you build muscle, then what happens is that you are also actually burning calories as the day goes on. So this helps with your metabolism when you have more muscle mass. And when you have more muscle mass, it also means that you will look leaner. Another fun fact about gaining muscle too is that it's not just about the aesthetic side of it. I look at muscle like insurance. The more muscle that you have, the better your health. So as a nurse, I've seen lots of people come in sick, unwell, at their weakest. And the people that have more lean body mass, meaning more muscle tissue, the better their recovery, the better their chances at dealing with big health implications. So it increases your bone density. It reduces your risk of falls when you're older, because you have core strength and you have strength in your legs and higher bone density. So then when you become older and you're in that risky phase of, falling over, breaking bones, osteoporosis, and fun fact for women, your risk of osteoporosis is actually increased when you're over the age of 30. So if you build all of this strength now, then imagine the position you'll be in when you're 70 years old. Much less reduced risk of comorbidities, of dealing with broken bones, falling over, things like that. So moving away from the aesthetics side of things, weightlifting actually improves your quality of life and your ability to be healthier in general. Next question, what has been your favorite part of your journey? I would definitely have to say the more that time has gone on, the more that I have become more me. So ever since I started my fitness journey, it was like a journey of coming home to myself. So before I started fitness, before I even dabbled in the gym or pole fitness or anything like that, my confidence in myself was in the floor. So seeing where I used to be at that point in my journey to now is miles different, completely different person over here. And that's why I'm so passionate about fitness, because it's not just about lifting weights and the aesthetic side of things. Like, yeah, you look sexy in the mirror naked, but there's more to it than that. It's the delayed gratification over time. It's learning patience and trust in yourself. And it's learning that, it's honestly learning self-respect for yourself, because you're not always going to be motivated. You're not always going to feel like going to the gym. But when you go to the gym anyways, even when you're not motivated, that builds self-trust for yourself and evidence to prove that you're able to do hard things and that you're keeping the promises that you made to yourself. Because I feel like a lot of the time people lack self-trust and self-belief in themselves because they haven't actually committed to whatever goal they have. They haven't actually just stuck it out for more than 2 weeks, or stuck and actually just pushed through past the motivation, because they rely on motivation. So when the motivation drops, then that's when they're more likely to just throw in the towel. So it's about pushing through that lack of motivation and still showing up for yourself anyway. And it's okay to have a change of mind in your goals. It's okay to, along the way, go, actually, I'm not really enjoying this kind of approach that I'm taking. And then looking at that and going, is there a shift that needs to be made in the type of training that I'm doing, in what I'm aiming for? There's nothing wrong in changing your path along the way. And that's the cool thing about fitness, is that there's so many avenues that you can go down. You don't have to necessarily just resistance train, as much as resistance training is proven to be the best for building muscle and bone density and things like that. You can go and do 5 kilometer plus runs or do a marathon. You could go and do Pilates. You could go and do high rocks. That's another big one at the moment. So there's lots of enjoyment and cool things that you can do within fitness that builds the more evidence for yourself that you can do hard things. So I think, long story cut short, in that answer is, I think the amount of self-belief and self-trust that I've gained along the way has been my favorite part of my journey. Okay, what has been my least favorite part of the journey? The nerves that I feel about exposing this truth. I think that, without kind of getting into detail and naming names and all that stuff, I think the least favorite part for me is discovering not everyone is meant to be in your close circle. Discovering that it's not just discipline in the gym and in your routine, it's also discipline in your boundaries, and being really raw and open and truthful about what your values are, and being honest with yourself, even when it's hard, even when you have to have the tough conversation with someone, that they're not aligned for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with speaking your truth, as much as it can be nervy and the other person is allowed to get offended with you speaking your truth. But at the end of the day, I think it's more important about keeping peace within yourself. And as long as you're not hurting anybody, I think you've got to be truthful to you. So I guess the least favorite part for me, even though there is a definite positive side to this, but the least favorite part for me is like discovering not everyone that you thought had the best intentions for you actually don't. I think that's my answer in a nutshell. Okay, so I've literally just spent the past 2.5 hours editing my first YouTube video. So I hope you all enjoy, and honestly, give me all the feedback. Let me know what you would like to see in the next episode. I'm just going to be doing like day in the life, like realism of what bodybuilding and what a prep looks like, the ins and outs, the ups and downs. You're going to see it all, and I'm going to be really brutally honest, because bodybuilding is not easy, and that's why I love it so much, because how empowering and cool does it get to be, and how much of a privilege does it get to be that I'm able to do something like this? Because another thing is, bodybuilding ain't cheap. So the fact that I'm so privileged and in the position to be able to compete and financially support myself and also compete is a privilege. And another thing that I learned from the last time I competed is, it is a privilege to be hungry on purpose. There is people in this world that are literally starving, not by choice. So the fact that I'm choosing to be hungry for a particular reason is a privilege. So yeah, how empowering does it get to be that I get to do something hard, and I know that I've done it before and I'm choosing to do it again. So anyways, she's getting passionate, and I am going to end this episode here, and I'll catch you in the next one. That will be soon, I promise. I'm not bailing and going ghost this time. I'm actually committing to this. And I really enjoyed editing that, which is really surprising to me because I used to think that I couldn't be bothered with long form content, but apparently I like it. So this is exciting and cool way to distract myself from the hunger too when it gets deeper into prep. All right, peace out. Happy New Year's. Happy 2026. Let's get after it.